Okay, guys, I believe we are live. How is it going, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us for the Indie Games podcast. We are back and we are ready to discuss some awesome indie goodness, as you know we love to do on this channel. Today we have a great lineup of guys. We've got the regular co-host Scotty Baby in the house, and we've got a returning friend from the channel who took a bit of a time out and he's coming back to join us as well. We got Judzy back on, and we got some legends in the chat as well. Thank you so much everyone who's coming through. We got some great topics to discuss. We got Planet of Lana goodness that is doing so well at the moment, and the reviews, which is great to see. And we're going to be diving into the controversy of the PlayStation Showcase, but mainly focusing on the games and the indie goodness that came out of it. But we will be discussing the format and stuff as well, of course, for a bit of juice. But yeah, let's get into some intros because we got two great guys here, like I say, just waiting to dive in, and it's awesome to be hanging out with them. We've got Scott, my partner in crime, on the co-hosting duties today. How are you doing, Scott, brother?
Evening, Indy. Evening, everyone. Yeah, good, mate. Thank you very much. It feels like it's been an absolute lifetime since the last show.
Yeah.
When we do this once a month, it feels so long between each show. So it's good to be back. Obviously, I'm glad you're feeling better, mate. It was a shame that Luke can't make us today. Although judging by his tweets, he's having a rather wonderful time in Amsterdam today. So I'm sure he's not missing out too much. But I'm sure he'll be listening in. So Luke, if you're listening, mate, I hope you're having a great time. But yeah, looking forward to the show. Obviously, it's great to have Jadzilla back on the show as well.
Definitely, buddy. Yeah, no, thank you very much. For the kind wishes. Yeah, I had a bit of a headache yesterday, guys. That's why we moved it on a day so we could I could actually have a brain that works while we do a podcast. So yeah, I appreciate you allowing me to do that, which but unfortunately it meant we lost the legend Luke in the process, as you say. But we've got another show lined up for next week, by the way, guys. So we're going to do this show today a bit more concise, and we're going to sort of separate a bit of it out for the next week's show, which will be a show dedicated to all of the upcoming showcases and our speculation, our excitement for those, any sort of like predictions. We'll be doing that on the next show on I think we might be doing it on Friday. We will clarify that though. But yeah, for today though, of course, Scotty Baby, we have the pleasure of you, and thank you very much for being part of it, my friend. So we have, as I say, a awesome guy returning to the channel. Took a bit of time out and we missed him dearly, so I'm really happy that he's back on the scene and bringing the awesome positivity that he does. And yeah, it's just great to have him back on the channel today. We've got Jadzilla rejoining us for a podcast, and I'm super excited. How you doing, brother?
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, fantastic to be back. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm really looking forward to chatting these games with you guys tonight, and chatting to the chat as well. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good now. Thank you very much. Yeah, so much to talk about. There's so much coming up. Like we were saying before, it's such a good time to be a gamer right now. So chill out, relax, and just enjoy yourself. Yes. Don't get bogged down with the negativity. I'm really glad to be back and to talk to you boys. So let's get it on.
Appreciate that, brother. That is awesome. And like I say, I always love your positivity and, you know, your great outlook on gaming. So that's perfect advice, I think. You know, it's a great time to be a gamer. You know, it's game showcase season, basically just around the corner. Cannot wait to soak it all up. It started already, to be honest, with PlayStation kicking it off early. So we're in the midst of it. It's going to be fun times. But yeah, thanks so much for coming back on the show, brother. And as we've got some more planned, obviously, with Judzy Baby coming up for showcase reactions and stuff like that. So looking forward to more hanging out with you, my friend. But let's shout out some of these legends that join us in the chat to hang out. We have got some great names coming through. Awesome to see Boxenberger coming through. Thank you so much, buddy, for being here. Hope you're doing very well. And we have got Thimba in the house as well. Thank you so much for being here. We also have Mr. Domez back in as well, saying, what's up, lads? Have only skipped through the PS Showcase. Looking forward to your all's thoughts. Well, thank you very much, buddy. We appreciate that. I know you like your indie games, so hopefully our focus on indie games today from the showcase will give you some satisfaction, I suppose you could say. We've also got Paul S in the house as well. Thank you so much for all your support on the channel recently, my friend. Great to see you back in. And Dapper Dog Digital are in as well. Great to see you guys. Hope development is going super well on Biogun. I'm very excited for that game. If you haven't checked out Biogun already, guys, check it out. It's an awesome Metroidvania, and Dapper Dog are the developers. So thank you for coming through, guys. So I think we should just maybe have a little. Should we have a? Well, should we dive straight into the topic, or should we have a little chat about what we've been playing? I suppose what we have been playing essentially is going to be the topic. So, I mean, let's just have a little warm up, shall we? Scotty, baby, you been playing anything much lately other than Planet of Lana? Have you been filling your boots with any juicy indie goodness, or has it just been Planet of Lana goodness for you lately? That was to Scott, by the way. Sorry, I don't know if you.
Apologies.
Sorry.
I was having a little cough there. Apologies. Got a little tickly throat.
Oh, sorry.
Today,
no worries.
so,
We can put it over to Judge first if you prefer.
No, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I've actually been playing a fair bit of indie content since we last caught up. Obviously, we've had The Last Case of Benedict Fox. A little plug for your review that went up earlier this week as well. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. Obviously, really enjoyed that. Been playing Ravenlock.
Nice.
Which came to Game Pass a few weeks ago. I'm relatively early into that. I just started a day or two before Planet of Lana came out, so I dropped that for Planet of Lana because obviously, just like yourself, I was very, very excited for that game. And then obviously, since it came out, was it just this week that Planet of Lana came out? Did it come out on Tuesday?
It came out on 23rd, I think it was.
Yeah, so just this week I've basically just dropped everything for Planet of Lana, but basically, and got that wrapped up yesterday, which I know we're going to chat about it in a little bit, so I'll save my thoughts for them. But yeah, a fair bit of indie goodness since we last caught up, mate.
That's pretty impressive, my friend. And with Luke doing his AAA season stuff, you're making him look bad. So Luke, we salute you, my brother. We miss you, but get on the indies again, brother.
To be fair, I didn't mention there has been a little sprinkling of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in there as well.
as long as there's a bit of both in there, and you've got some indie goodness in your life, you're always going to feel better for it. But no, that's good stuff. Some great games there. Last Case of Benedict Fox. We haven't actually have a chat directly about that. What was your take on Benedict Fox? And I've obviously done the review on the channel. You know how I feel about it. But did you enjoy the game as a whole? Did you finish the game, or I know you were quite far through, weren't you?
Yeah, I ended up after we spoke about it on Twitter, Indy. I ended up completing it maybe a couple of hours after that. I was really close to the end actually.
I thought
when
you
we
were
chatting.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it. Listening to your review, I've got very similar thoughts.
Nice.
I did take advantage a little bit, to be completely honest, of the auto solving on occasion, which maybe helped me get through it a little bit quicker than others. There's a few things like, for example, the Kogai locks, or I can't remember what exactly they were called, where kind of by the end was like, I'll just auto solve them, But otherwise, really enjoyed it. Great art style. Really enjoyed the combat actually.
Nice.
I thought the combat was really fun, especially once you get those upgrades going.
Yeah.
And the story, and I know you particularly called out the voice acting in it as well, which I thought was excellent.
Definitely, yeah. No, it's one of those games that's super divisive. It's I won't go into it, but there's definitely been some differing opinions around the place. I know some people are not getting on with it as well, so it's good to hear you've enjoyed it. And but one of these things, I'm not saying this is what everyone thinks, but like they play games like Hollow Knight and stuff like that, and then they play another Metroidvania like this one, and it just feels different. Obviously, it's just and that's a good thing in my opinion. Their game should have its own identity, its own feel to it. But sometimes people sort of can't get over the fact that it doesn't feel the same as some of the other favorites from the genre. I don't know if that's an issue in it, but I'm not saying that's what everyone thinks, but sometimes people have been sort of saying about the controls or the gameplay, but I feel like at first it does feel different. It's like I said in review, it just takes a little bit to adapt to, but that's just only natural, I think, with a game. And I don't know how you feel about that, but
it was interesting actually, because that part of your review caught me off guard a little bit, because I kind of wasn't aware that there was this conversation around the controls being bad. And I think you mentioned that the developers have even come out and said that they're working on maybe alternative control schemes. I don't recall having any real trouble with the controls. Like, I guess the closest thing I had a problem with the controls was sometimes the double jump didn't quite work as I would have liked. But that's probably more just that's more the double jump mechanic rather than the controls, because it works in a very specific way.
It does. It's very different. It's not there all the time. So that's something I don't know if people were noticing that, because you have to have the amplification to be able to do the double jump, which is the the demon companion's abilities. So I was wondering whether people weren't picking up on the fact that you have to have that there so you can do it at certain times, and they were thinking it wasn't registering and stuff. I don't know whether that was something you were conscious of as well, maybe. So maybe it wasn't that for you.
Yeah, I think it was obviously you have to have something kind of above you, really, within a certain range in order for it to kick in. I think there was just sometimes where I kind of felt it should be there and it wasn't, and then I'd jump and it wouldn't, it wouldn't double jump and I'd fall down a hole or something like
Yeah.
that, But that's a relatively minor nitpick, I think. But I didn't really have any issues with the controls, to be honest.
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't.
not somebody that generally changes controls. I kind of just play
No.
the default. Although, what was the game that I did have to change immediately? Was it Tunic or something like that?
Really.
There was a game last year I remember playing it, and I remember just thinking like, what on earth were they thinking with those controls? It wasn't Tunic. I can't remember the name of the game now.
I have had one or two games like that, but generally speaking, I think they do the controls a certain way for a reason, and later on into the game is often when you'll find out, if you know what I mean, because there'll be a button that hasn't been unlocked yet or something like that. So if you change the controls around, then you realize later, oh, that made sense for that button to be on that one when you get that special ability or whatever, you know what I mean? So I always just leave it if I can, and then you'll find out kind of why it's that way, basically. But yeah, it's a shame, because I feel some people may, in general, I suppose this is a bit depth we're getting into now, but like in general, sometimes people will just be like, oh no, it doesn't feel right, I'll stop playing. You know what I mean? Like, people need to give things a chance, I think, sometimes, but at the same time, it's that type of culture now, isn't it, where you just like put things down very quickly. People do. So, but yeah, the game is so worth it. If you've sort of gone in for it and you've maybe sort of got a little bit not too sure about it, I urge you to give it another chance. Obviously, it's an amazing game. If you love Metroidvanias, it's super cool. It's a very interesting game. But yeah, anyway, sidetracking a little bit, I'm just doing my review over again now. So if you want to know my full thoughts, it's in my review on the channel, and I won't go harp on it about it this whole time. But I'm sort of campaigning for it almost, because I see these negative reviews, and I see a lot of positive reviews as well, and it's kind of divisive. And because the ones with the controls, I noticed it on the Steam reviews a little bit, and I was like, oh, people were like giving it, because it's on mixed reviews at the moment on Steam. It's mixed. The score is mixed.
Yeah.
I was like,
did you play keyboard and mouse, India, with a controller?
A controller. Yeah, controller.
Yeah. I can't imagine it being a game that would play particularly well on keyboard and mouse.
No,
if it even supports it. To
it
be
does.
honest.
I've seen people play with it.
It was just a bit of a surprise. Yeah. I didn't notice any. Out of interest, is there like one example of something like a particular button that people didn't like? Because X's attack, A's jump, LB's gun, like it all felt fairly intuitive.
I mean, the only thing when I first started playing it was a little bit sort of like, oh, that's a bit different. When I first played the demo, was like the right stick is the dash, but the dash is not like a usual Hollow Knight dash. It's just a little sort of skip kind of forward. And then later on, don't want to spoil anything, but you get what you might deem as the dash. Spoiled it basically then, so sorry about that. But yeah, you do get a dash later, which is more conventional. I've just got to say it now, haven't I? But yeah, just bear that in mind. There are other abilities that you gain throughout the game where you're going to get that sort of thing. But yeah, it didn't feel wrong for me at all. It felt really good, and yeah, just a lot of other sort of creative sort of flair went into the game, I think, which was quite unique, and I thought it was a really good game. But it's always a shame when you feel like it deserves a bit more love. I know it got a lot of love from some, but it got a lot of opposite love, hate, in other words, from others. But yeah, the other thing is just to address DeFloyd. Shout out to you, my friend, thank you very much for being here. Saying, have they come out with any updates? Had issues with crashes? There were a few people that said they had crashes. Again, I didn't have anything like that at all. We said crashes on Xbox. So I do know that I did hear a couple of people say that. That was probably early days, maybe, but they have put patches out. As I say, they've patched the controls, so there's more control systems available to you, and they also were doing stability updates and stuff as well. But like I say, I was playing it on Steam personally, so it might have been different on that, but I didn't have any crashes at all. So
same. I played on Xbox. I didn't have any crashes. There was one area. If I was to say the first, it gets cold, Indy. If I was to say that, would you know what I meant?
If it gets cold, I know that you mean. You're better at being vague than I am.
So the performance absolutely tanked on Xbox.
Really?
Like the frame rate must have dropped to about 15 or something like that. But otherwise, the performance was pretty good.
Awesome, yeah. And loving that comment to Floyd. Sweet, I'll give it another try. I love puzzles. And that is a great comment to make, actually, because the puzzles are superb. I know you missed out on those, Scott, because you turned them off, but it's all good. If that's not...
I did do some of them, okay. And most of them. I did at least try them before
okay, that's good.
Option.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. I'm just not the type that's going to beat my head against a wall constantly.
I think they're not that hard, really. I mean, once you get, like I was saying earlier, once you get the gist of how the game wants you to play it, like it applies to a lot of games, I think you get the feel for things, and then you can apply that to most of the other puzzles, and then there's different stuff that goes on. But yeah, they're cool. They're a bit like the Tunic style puzzles, I suppose, because it's more like, you know, it's not gamey, it's not gamified. It's kind of almost like there's a bit of like point and click in the puzzle aspects, if you see what I mean, point and click adventure style games. And I really like that because it sort of came in quite well and blended with the game nicely. So yeah, definitely give it another shot. And the puzzles, I thought they were really clever and just very satisfying to solve, because you'll look at different like emblems and what they correspond to as a number, and then you'll have to work out the total number in a little bit of, you know, easy maths, obviously just adding things together, and then you work it out to correspond from the code. Then you spin that around and work that out on each of the different bits, line it up, and then it opens up the door. That kind of stuff. It's not too taxing really once you just know what it's all about. But yeah, I understand if you do want to turn them off, then that's not your thing. That's totally cool, and I would not judge you for it, Scotty baby.
I think it's a cool option. It's good that it exists, you know, because some people might not vibe with the puzzle aspect and would prefer just to focus on the combat and the story. And I could see maybe some people who don't like puzzles getting put off by the first couple that you come up against, and having that option just hopefully allows people to enjoy the rest of the game while you know, ignoring or not interacting with the parts that they didn't particularly like. So I definitely agree. That's at least got the option.
Definitely agree on that front for sure. Because it is a bit of a different spin on things, like you say. But yeah, great takes. And shout out to Rescue Squad Culp coming through. Great to see you, my friend. As I say, to Floyd, Boxenberger, Thimber, and Lady Foxfire in the house. Great to see you, my friend. Great video on the PlayStation Showcase. I loved what you've done with that. Keeping it positive as always. Love that. Check it out, guys, if you haven't already. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone who's joining us. We should get on with things. Actually, we shouldn't get on with things. We should go to Judsy, baby, and find out what he's been playing. We've been speaking so long about Scott's one.
This is meant to be a shorter show, and we're 25 minutes in, and we're still in the
Don't worry, we've got this covered still. We're going to make this a shorter show still. Don't you worry, I got it. I got this. But Judsy, baby, what have you been playing, my friend?
Yeah, he's going to make it short because he's got an automatic mute on me. No, God, what have I been playing since we caught up? I mean, wow, lots, obviously, but some of the standouts for me, Somerville. 100% of that game. I loved it. I know it was a bit divisive. I absolutely love that game. It's fantastic.
Nice.
And a quick call out actually to a Memoir Blue. I went back and played that.
Nice.
100% of that one as well.
Sweet.
And it's well worth playing. If you haven't played it, very emotional story. It's not like an action thing or anything. It's really, really good. There's a couple of puzzles in there, Scott, so you may want to, you know, get some help off indie guides here. I'm not sure, but yeah, not too bad.
Hey, I completed all the puzzles in Planet of Lana all by myself.
I love it. Well, if you took the puzzles out of Planet of Lana, you're basically left with
just a walking simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, you could still. I tell you what, if that game was just walking through those environments and that music, I would still really enjoy it.
Still be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
and we'll definitely have more on that later.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, Planet of Lana, that stopped me playing a couple of other games. I started Ravenlock and Eastern Exorcist. Ooh. If you've heard of that, that's a fantastic game. Go check that out. That's on Game Pass. Finished Atomic Heart. I know is that indie or, you know, not so sure, but
probably not.
Wow, that was fantastic. Yeah,
if you enjoyed
it,
really
that's good game.
Yeah, I know you were looking forward to that for so long, weren't you?
So long, yeah. Absolutely. You know what's so good, mate? It's so good that when you watch some of these shows, you know, the shows we did last year, and we're picking games out like Atomic Heart, that looks awesome. Planet of Lana, damn, that looks fantastic. Last Case of Xbox, and they come out and they actually deliver on what you thought they were going to be, and it's like, okay,
it's great,
that's
isn't it?
Fantastic.
It's satisfying.
Good.
Yeah, like it's the good thing about you following these games and just, you know, keeping an eye on them, and then they deliver. It's so great. It's a good feeling. Yeah, so that's awesome though, buddy. Fantastic stuff. Good to hear you've been playing some cool games and having a lot of good times with that on your Beast PC to announce to the world. He's got a lovely new PC, so congrats on again on that. So you're not too jealous. Beasting up the settings, no doubt. But yeah, no, fantastic, buddy. It's great to have you back and good to hear what you've been playing. Let us know in the chat, guys, what have you been playing, what games have you been enjoying. A lot of love for Benedict Fox, it seems, which is good, and a lot of love for Planet of Lana, which is great to see. So let us know, guys, what you've been up to games wise. We always love to hear from you in the chat, and thank you very much for being here. If you haven't already, feel free to hit that like button. It will certainly help, and it'll be massively appreciated as well. And so feel free to share it out with your friends as well if you want to get some more people in here to hang out and have some fun times chatting indie games. We would greatly appreciate that. But yeah, thanks again for being here, and let's crack on, guys. Should we crack on with our first topic then? It's going to be Planet of Lana goodness. I know we're all super excited to discuss this game. So basically we're going to be giving our kind of review, I suppose you could say, on Planet of Lana, although 2 out of 3 people have finished the game. And I'm the one that hasn't, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, guys. Too much content creation going on this week, I'm afraid. But I've played a good chunk of it. But yeah, I'm going to rely fully, well, not fully, mostly for the full perspective part of it on the other 2 guys for the take on that. But yeah, we're all going to give our takes on Planet of Lana. We'd love to hear your takes on Planet of Lana as well if you've played it in the chat. Shout out to Uncle Mike coming through. Thank you very much for being here, my friend. Great to see you. And yeah, like I say, we've got some gameplay running, got a beautiful scene. It's a stunningly beautiful game. So much hype for it. We were talking about it for years, literally. I was watching this game before there was even a trailer out on Twitter. So on Twitter, I was watching the clips that they showed off. I'm going to start that because that's actually just stationary at the moment. Turn down the music on that as well. Sorry, guys.
I thought you was going to play it now to finish it.
Yeah, I'm just going to catch up while we're on here. But yeah, I was following this game, like I say, on Twitter, just checking out the game clips that they were posting before they'd even put a trailer together, and it just looks stunning. It's just you see it and you just know it's just something special, basically. But yeah, to be able to check it out now and it actually come into fruition and be awesome is just an amazing feeling. But yeah, like it's very special. It's magical visually, but when you play it, it's something else. But I'm going to pass this over to you guys to have your take first, because I'll only harp on for ages about how much I love this game. But yeah, I really want to hear what you guys think about it. It's like I say, Planet of Lana has come out to rave reviews, which is awesome to see. Obviously it's developed by Wishfully. They're a Swedish studio, and Thunderful is the publisher. They've been doing amazing work lately. We all know that well. Thunderful putting out amazing experiences, partnering with amazing developers, and yeah, this game is no exception. So yeah, it's great to see it come out to such high reviews, across the board, because indie games, it's always good to see when they succeed. And yeah, this seems to be definitely a success in the public's eye. But is it a success in our eyes? John C. Baby, like you go first on this one. How have you been feeling about Planet of Lana, buddy?
Well, now, how long have we got? Here we go. This is. I'll try not to go crazy. Yes, like you said, we were watching this. I mean, you've been watching it for so long, but we watched the shows on the reveals and everything, and tracking the progress. And it's rare a game that comes out that's completely finished, is beautiful, and it lives up to expectations. So first thing I want to say about this game, I mean, you can see it on screen now. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The animation's fantastic. The emotional content as well, when you're bonding with Mui. I think I said that right. Your alien cat friend.
Yeah,
is really cool, and not just the fact that there's that connection between the two of them. Obviously, there's a lot to do with the mechanics and helping with the puzzle solving. But for me, one of the biggest things that stood out when I finished the game, I didn't mean to rub that in there. I'm just saying, when I finished the game, I tweeted it out and said I finished the game. And it's amazing. But one of the points I wanted to make in that was to say the music in this game is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
You can think of films and things, and they've got iconic scores, and you're like, wow, you can always remember the feeling and emotion you got when you're watching a film, when you hear the music.
Definitely.
And this is exactly the same. So the composer Takeshi Furukawa and the lady that did the vocals was Siobhan Wilson.
Nice.
Absolutely amazing. It just brings the whole thing to life. If that score wasn't in this game, it would still be amazing, still be fantastic. But it really does add that emotion and feeling throughout the game as you're playing it.
100%.
As far as the gameplay and the mechanics, I really enjoyed the fact that they were adding different, like Scott said earlier, we were talking a little bit previously about the puzzles. Once you understand what the game's trying to, or helping to teach you to do the puzzles, it becomes easier and easier. And the new mechanics they add in, they just add them in at the right time. And there's also been comments about the controls and a little bit sluggish. I didn't find that.
Okay.
I thought it added a little bit more tension, when you're trying to get these things timed correctly and you're being chased by one of the robots and you've got to make the jump.
Yeah.
And, it takes a little bit of time to climb up, and then you got to... So I thought that added to it.
Definitely.
That's my initial impressions. I don't want to go crazy because I could probably talk for quite a while.
We'll get your initial, get Scott's initial, and then we'll go right back around if you like. Definitely interested to know the ins and outs. But yeah, like Scotty Baby, I know you had a similar impression with regards to the music. I saw your tweet on that as well, I believe. But yeah, just generally, what was your kind of off the top level? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, very quickly. First, India, I'm not too sure if you've got to this point. Juds will know what I mean, but there's a particular scene, and actually, I think the game does this actually very, very well. I don't know if there's a particular term for it in cinema or something, but where the camera kind of pans in and pans out at certain points to either focus or there's one particular scene where it pans all the way out.
Right.
And I tweeted a screenshot from this particular scene. It's now actually my desktop background because it was that good. And you're running across just this open land, and the like I say, the camera's panned all the way out, and the music in that particular scene is absolutely unbelievable. And I tweeted about it this as well afterwards, which is and Judd's touched on it as well, which is just how they're able to evoke emotion through that music, through your interactions with Mui, and this is again with no dialogue. I guess it's got the character Lana says two words basically, but there's no real dialogue at all, so it's able to kind of evoke that emotion and provide storytelling but without any dialogue at all, which I think is a really special thing when they can get it right. And the music is just such a big part of that. But in general, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a fantastic game. It only came onto my radar after you and Luke started talking about it last year.
Right.
And I actually came to Inside and Limbo. Obviously, this has, it's inspired quite heavily by those games.
Yeah.
I came to those quite late. I only played both of those early last year. So I've come off the back of them. So this game, obviously very excited, and I've come to play it and thoroughly enjoyed it. From a controls perspective, I understand what Judd says. I had no problems with the controls, and I think it kind of adds to the game. I agree with Judd's on that. I think what you got to remember is you're playing as a child essentially in this world. It's not like you're playing as like a ninja or something.
That's
where
true.
You've got ultra fast reflexes, and you can change direction super quick, or you can jump super high, or you can pull yourself up really quick. You're a child in this world going through this particular experience, and I think the controls actually really help convey that without feeling too sluggish or without impacting the experience of the game as well. So but just like I said, really enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it.
100%, buddy. No, well said. Just to let you know, guys, if you're watching this gameplay and it looks like I'm just standing around a lot of the time, it's because I'm streaming and probably talking to this from the stream. So that's
why he hasn't finished it yet, because he's just
every 5 minutes I'm like talking about how good it looks. So I was watching it thinking I'm just standing there. So this is recorded simultaneously via the stream. But I love those takes, though, Scott. Really fantastic stuff, and it looks like a lot of people are loving it in the chat as well. Like Paul has already finished it, but it's saying that you've got most of the shrines, I believe, which is awesome. So so you can go back in after you finish the game to get more shrines, can you? Is that right? Have you had a look at that? Or
I haven't actually. I
Cool.
probably got actually Paul. I think I got 4 as well. It was funny because I was playing it and I found a shrine. It was like you found shrine 8 of 10, and I was like, "What?
Oh, right?
Like,
Did you?
where the hell were the other shrines?"
Yeah.
So I played for about 7 hours as I was saying in the pre-show, and I got less than half the achievements, which actually surprised me. I thought it was going to be a little bit short, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I love short games. This is a game that I think is almost perfect in length as well.
Facts. Yeah, no, that is what it's all about, isn't it? Making it the right length for the experience. And yeah, that seems like a good length to me. This game, around 6 to 7 hours, isn't it? I believe that's what people are saying. Is that how long it took you guys? Sorry. So
I think mine was 5.5.
Ooh.
I'm not a pro gamer like Judson.
Pro gamer Judson.
So it was more like 7 for me.
I'm aiming for 5 now, not 5. I'm just trying to beat you. I'm 3 hours in at the moment, so I'll be finishing it off very soon. By the way, guys, like I say, other things I had to quickly get done after I'd done the stream. I played a little bit today as well to sort of top it up and refresh the memory. Just feels amazing.
Can you give us an idea of where you are, Andy? I appreciate, obviously, we're trying not to spoil too much because it's still new. Can you give us an idea of kind of where you're at without spoiling it, just to get
probably where I find out I'm only like really at the start. So it's hard to not spoil because the places I would use as a guide would be spoilers, I think. Oh God.
I mean, if you can't, I appreciate where people are still playing it. That's fine. I'm just curious as to how far you're in. If you're 3 hours,
3 hours in, and I haven't really got
it.
stuck on any puzzles like where I've had to think about. The longest one that took me is the one I did on stream, where it was the music one kind of thing. If that makes sense, where you have to go back into the cave and look at the writing on the wall and stuff like that, and work out where to position. And then you have to make the sound the right, the one I mean, don't you?
Yeah. That was simpler than I expected, and I was expecting it to be more complicated.
Yeah,
which
actually
threw me off a little bit. I accidentally stumbled across the first 2 clues.
Okay.
And then so then I was kind of expecting more, and I spent time looking for them without realizing, it's already kind of told me.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was. Once you know what's sort of the drill is in that one, then it's pretty straightforward. But I do like ones like that. What I really like about the puzzles in the game is they're really expansive and they're really big, and it's a scale and they're not just like one screen. You have to sort of like move across quite a big area quite often to work out the puzzles. I think the puzzles are really well designed in the game. Obviously, the game itself looks absolutely stunning. We've been saying that for years, and it really is a very special visual game. But the music heightens it even more. It's so cinematic. The soundtrack, you know what I mean? It really feels like you're in an epic movie, and I love that about it. It really just brings the whole audio visual experience to real heights.
Sorry, I've just seen you die on the stream.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I was going to say something. I'm glad you.
That's just a leap of faith.
There was an absolute execution there.
It's my leap of faith. It's all right. It's all right when you're playing on your own, when you stream and you do silly things like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Multitasking.
I was just going to say, I was going to ask Juds what it was like playing this after Somerville, because I really enjoyed Somerville. I had some issues with not necessarily the controls, but how you controlled in the kind of semi 3D environment almost, or within the 3D environments of Somerville. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. But obviously, there's almost a lot of there are some similarities in terms of the overarching narrative, but also the musical aspect as well. I was a little bit surprised because there's obviously a big thing in Somerville about the audio in that as well. So it's kind of got like a War of the Worlds type of thing going on. So did you enjoy Judd's playing this game off the back of Somerville, even if there are some similarities there?
Yeah, I think they're certainly different enough. I get what you're saying about the sort of quasi 3D movement. That's definitely true. But this, you didn't really struggle with that, of course, so much because there wasn't really sort of any depth going back into the screen, if you like. Well, trying to explain quasi 3D. I can't think of the word.
No, yes, but good. It's all on the 2D plane, isn't it, in this game, basically?
Yeah, exactly. And banging on about the music again, I think yeah, Somerville was good. I'm trying to think of a good comparison that's completely gone. But with this, it's not so much like the score is like you said, it's like movie-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, Takeshi Furukawa, he did the music for Mythic Quest and The Last Guardian, as well as he's now doing, or he's doing this year, I guess, Avatar: The Last Bender on Netflix, Last Airbender, I should say.
Okay.
So there's a live action version coming, and he's doing, and that's, it's not surprising that what he's done is so amazing.
Yeah.
But it's the theme throughout, the way the music actually affects the themes. And this, as we're looking at your playthrough here, Indy, as well.
Yep.
The way the actual the scenes, you know, this is a very sort of nighttime and sort of ominous kind of area, and then you go into like the underground sequences as well, which I won't go into too much for people that haven't played it.
Yes.
But there's so much variety, and that really does set the scene, and the sound design and the way it all blends together. It's so difficult to actually describe if you've not kind of played it, you know, but yeah, it's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This scene is really good. A really good indication of what the game does so well. I think there's, like I say, the scale of it is just incredible. The way it pans back, and you just got like, you know, there's real depth in the environment and stuff like that. Again, that's, you know, a bit like Benedict Fox did that really well, but this one does it in a bit of a different way, where you've got sort of like, it's like just an epic feel to it, I think, and that's where the music really sets it off as well, because it's got that orchestral feel, if you see what I mean. I don't know if it...
and yeah, sorry, mate. I was just going to say, notice as we're looking at this right now, notice you're at a sort of nighttime, sort of spooky sort of scene. Everything's kind of static.
Yeah.
And then when you go back into the sunny sort of daylight, and the trees and everything's swaying and moving, and the world looks alive again. Yeah. It's just touches like that just really do bring it to life above other games.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's beautifully done. It's absolutely stunning. But yeah, like this opening sequence, I'm so glad they kept this as a sort of thing for only the main game, if you see what I mean, because you know, the demo was a different part of the game. So, but yeah, this was just a really nice surprise, basically. Sorry if anyone's watching this for the first time, but yeah, like, it'll still be a nice surprise, because when the audio and everything kicks in, and when you're in the game, it's just a different thing. But yeah, the apps, it's absolutely like sheer scale of everything. You being this tiny little 11-year-old, I think you are, in this huge world. It just is beautifully done, and you know, the whole situation of what's happening, without spoiling it too much and stuff. That's all unfolding around me, actually, because I'm not finished, as I say. So there are things going on, and I feel like it is a very close sort of almost feel to sort of like Somerville. I think that's probably the reason you brought it up again, Scott, and comparing it to it. I definitely feel like Somerville vibes in this like with the War of the Worlds things and stuff like that. Obviously there's the inside vibe of it for sure, which is more, you know, close to the gameplay, because you're on the 2D plane and stuff like that, the puzzles and stuff. But yeah, with you know, the actual sort of story, I think that's closer to what Somerville is, without spoiling anything again. But yeah, like, I'm interested to see how the rest of it goes on. But like, there's things I've been finding which are really interesting, and then, like I say, those things I've been finding, telling sort of like stories of, I don't know how much I should say, really. This is what, with the reviews, I can script it and edit it out. But like with this, if I could just blurt it out and say something wrong, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the things I'm finding are very interesting, you know, otherworldly and stuff like that. And I think I really like the juxtaposition of this sort of beautiful world as well, with the sort of sinister aspects that are, you know, impending. Basically,
good. Sorry, mate.
Was that safe enough?
That's a really good point, because if you remember Song of Iron, which I know you do, when you get to the end of that game, it's very different to how you started the game. And for people that haven't played it, things happen, and you're like, wow, okay, I kind of got some hints as you're going through. And then that you know, and the way it ends is like, oh wow, okay, that's really different. This kind of has a similar twist, if you like. So I won't say too much more on that, but it's it was quite surprising.
That sounds good. I like the sound of that for sure. I do get the sort of impression they're kind of getting towards something. I love the environmental storytelling aspect. A lot of these sorts of games do that, but this one's doing it particularly well. You know, obviously Inside is as near to perfect as it gets, and this one feels like it's in that realm as well, to be honest, so far. But yeah, everything about it is delivering for me. I don't really see why you would feel like it's sluggish. Like Scott said, that's a perfect answer to that. You're not like a sort of a ninja, like you say. You're just in this world. You've just been presented with a crazy situation, and you're getting through it, kind of thing, with the help of a very lovely little furry friend. And I'm sure Scott loves that because he's a dog lover, even though it's a cat. But maybe Luke should have been here for that one.
Yeah, Louis is particularly adorable.
Absolutely. But yeah, no. What do you think of the aspects of the gameplay where you do combine forces and work with Mui to sort of figure out certain elements? Do you enjoy that sort of part of it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I think Judd's mentioned it earlier as well, as how the kind of puzzles ramp up as you progress through the game, and it introduces different elements. Obviously, at the beginning, you're just by yourself. You then meet Mui, and you can help. They can help you, and then there are other ways that you can interact with Mui and interact with maybe other elements of the environment. I'm trying to be a little bit vague, but it kind of progresses quite nicely, I think, as you play the game. So it's not just the same puzzle over and over. It's like a new challenge each puzzle you come across. And
Nice.
yeah, and how you use Mui in there, particularly later on as well, I think is really interesting. I think really added to the game.
Absolutely, yeah. No, great shout. How about yourself, Juds? How do you feel about the gameplay elements, like the working together aspects, and anything else within the gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's fantastic. It's interesting that when you start to get used to the way the puzzle mechanics work, you come onto a new scene and you see what's laid out in front of you, and you're like, okay, I know where I need to go, and from what I've done before, I know pretty much what I'm going to do here. And you can see the different elements that you can interact with.
Exactly.
And then it gets to the point where you're like, oh, hold on a minute. I can't figure. Oh, I've got Mui.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, Mui comes into their own and does the thing. And like Scott said, it's not just a case of, point and click this, go here and wait. There's other things that Mui does, and you can use other characters in the game. So you're not just interacting with you and Mui. There's actually other characters in the game that can assist you as you figure out how to unlock getting access to them. It's so difficult to try and explain that bit without spoiling it.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, I love it. And a bit of stealth action as well going on, which I'm just taking a beating on that one. But yeah, just as you say. But yeah, the stealth elements, I thought they were quite cool as well. Again, they're sort of stealth puzzly as well, which is quite cool. Sometimes you need to use Mui as in to go under the ground and stuff like that, which is clever, I think, the little bits like that. And I just thought the puzzles were really well designed, and it kind of needs to be as well, because it is one of the core mechanics of the game as well, the puzzles. Just quickly going to jump to the chat though quickly, guys. I've left that for a little bit, and I did see that we have the legend Dragon Wolf back in the house. It's been a while, my friend. It's great to see you back in, and some great comments from you I've noticed as well. You said you I've been enjoying Planet of Lana at the moment, which is awesome, and really enjoyed Benedict Fox as well. What a great game. That is great to hear, my friend. Loving to hear the positivity around Benedict Fox as well as Lana. It's a very special combo of games. Like I've been saying, like they're two of my most anticipated games coming back to back, and it's just making me feel like, yeah, it's a pretty awesome time, isn't it? But yeah, let's just, a game like this one is very different, to... you Benedict Fox, you got the Metroidvania in Benedict Fox, it's more longer game. Then this one's obviously closer to a more, inside, and it's concise, it's sort of to the point, and just, like I say, delivers on that real cinematic experience. So just, what I've enjoyed so far is that I really love the scale of it. Like Scott says, it pans back, and you find this, the sound really plays into that as well. It makes it feel really big, the world, and just come alive, I think. It's not just the music, actually, it's the sound effects I find are really good in this game as well. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely loving it. And I'm glad everyone is as well. But anything else you guys wanted to add about Planet of Lana? Anything sort of takes you want to add in there at all? Maybe Juds or Scott?
I'll do one quick take. And that is what you've just said, funnily enough, talking about the stealth elements. Right. It's extremely well done. But the point about the stealth elements, it would be very easy for them to overkill the stealth in this game. And it isn't. True. It's a perfect balance. And the last thing I'll say, and then hand over to Scott, is if you haven't played this, chat, or anyone listening after, go play it. It's awesome. You'll really enjoy it.
Nice, fantastic stuff,
yeah,
buddy.
I'll just I would just echo what Judd said. Just play the game, especially if you're a Game Pass subscriber. It's on Game Pass on both PC and Xbox. If you've got Game Pass, I see no reason why you wouldn't check this out.
Definitely. No, great stuff, guys. And I'm guessing you probably don't want to give a score, do you, based on the fact that you have played the full game? Would you like to deliver us a little score, or would you rather not? Or would you like to just say definitely play it? It's up to you guys if you wanted to give it a little cheeky score. If you're adverse to that, no worries.
I'm trying to think. Judd, are you a fan of the old scoring system?
Yes and no, but I don't mind giving a score, to be honest with you, just because of how much I enjoyed it. I would give it definitely a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of. To be fair, actually, Eurogamer have moved away from this, but Eurogamer kind of just used to. They didn't give a score. They've now moved back to a 5-star scoring system, but they kind of just give like a most player recommended.
Yeah,
I prefer that more than anything.
So where would you fall on that?
I'd kind of put it as a must play.
Yeah, that's cool.
A must play, absolutely.
I didn't think you liked numbers. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I know what you mean. I do understand both sides of things, but yeah, must play is.
Yeah, I understand the reason people use them. The main issue I've got with it is if I was to score this game, yeah, I would probably go along the same lines as Judd's, like a 9.
Yep.
But the biggest problem I've got is just the lack of using the full scale. Like I see games that are rated 7 and 8 that I would say really they're 4, 5s or 6s, because basically anything under a 7 is considered shit. And so basically you've got a scale of 7, 8, 9 because things very rarely hit 10, and anything under a 7 is considered shit. So that's why I'm not a big fan of the scoring system, and that's why I quite enjoyed Eurogamer's take on it. It's a bit of a shame that they've moved away from it. So, but it's a must play, you know. So yeah, definitely go out and play it.
Absolutely must play. Yeah, great stuff. No, fantastic. Yeah, no, I mean, so obviously he's living up to your expectations. We were looking forward to it a long time. It's kind of surreal, isn't it, when we look forward to these games, like Judd was saying. I think then they actually come out, and it's fantastic to see, really. Yeah, when you follow them so closely. But yeah, like everything about it for me is everything I hoped it would be, basically. And like I say, I'm probably halfway through, I imagine. A bit over, maybe 3.5 hours, 3 hours or something like that. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you know, I'm loving it, and it could probably only get better, I reckon, from the hints that I'm seeing in the environmental storytelling at the moment, which have been discovered recently, are super intriguing. I love the other environmental storytelling in general, but this one does it particularly well. I love the little aspects of where you do sort of call out and stuff to your friend Mue and stuff like that. You know, just subtle sort of like things that add to the richness of the world. The beauty of the world is just like, you know, all these sound effects, like the trees, you know, and all that kind of thing. It just feels really rich and like it's alive, basically. I love every aspect of it. It's everything I hoped it would be, basically. So I won't give any score, but it's definitely, I'm going to say it's definitely a must play from me, because I haven't finished the game. I won't give a score. I usually do give scores on my reviews, as some of you might be aware, but I'm not going to score a game that I haven't finished, because it might take a nasty turn, but I highly doubt that. But yeah, no, definitely play it if you haven't already. Some great comments coming in the chat, actually, from Mr. Domez saying, I'm curious, do indies profit from being available on Game Pass? I would think so, just for the reach and making a game for yourself, making a name for yourself, sorry, if the game is good. Yeah, so I did you want to have a little address that one? I think Scott's already doing it. Maybe you take it from here, Scott, if you want to just answer that comment. You seem to be already all over it.
Yeah, I was replying to Mr. Domez there. Sorry, I didn't know if you were going to get to it, because it's an interesting question, and I think ultimately the I don't know if this is the right phrase, but I was going to say the proof is in the pudding, and what I mean by that is we're seeing a lot of these indie games, like Last Case of Benedict Fox, like Planet of Lana, launching on Game Pass day one. Now, these developers, someone like Thunderful as well, you know, it's not like that's a one-man band. They're a fairly big publisher of indie games now. They're continuing to grow. They're not going to put their games on Game Pass unless it works for them. And the fact that we're constantly seeing these games come on there, and also if you listen to the developers generally. The ones that I've seen, they're very complimentary towards Game Pass. I mentioned Mike Rolls, who I think you'll be familiar with, Indy, there as well. Who he basically said in a tweet not that long ago that he basically wants all of their games in Game Pass if possible because of the visibility it gives the games. He used Descenders as an example of just where Game Pass give them just millions of players day one. And that's just something that maybe wouldn't be achievable without that sort of platform.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's not going to work for every developer, but generally speaking, I think it seems to be very, very positive.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the only thing you probably would think against it is if there was ever going to take away from the potential of what you could sell, I suppose, if you see what I mean. Like if you were to put in Game Pass and then people didn't buy it when you could have made more in sales, that's probably the only other way it would go against you, would you say? If it's
but I suspect that they're financially obviously rewarded by Microsoft for it to go into Game Pass.
That's what I mean.
I think that's another element as well. I think for some of these games, obviously each deal with Game Pass is likely to be different, but I suspect there's definitely an element of upfront cost.
Definitely.
That comes from Microsoft when that deal's signed, and that money can go towards development that could allow them to take the time with the game, launch it when they want it, rather than having the pressures of having to launch the game just to bring money in, which is an unfortunate reality for indie developers who aren't backed by a major publisher or things like that. That financial help, I suspect, from these publishers is or from the platform holders, I think is very good. And it's why actually I'm never normally too bothered about the whole timed exclusivity conversation when it comes to indie games now with AAA developers, Square Enix and things like that. I think I don't think it's particularly good practice, because those publishers and developers, they don't need the money. They're taking the money to keep the content off another platform. Indie developers, they're using that money to deliver the game. You look at something like Tunic, which also launched on Game Pass. I know that initially started out as just one guy, and I suspect the money from a deal like that is invaluable to allowing them to release the game in the state they want it to be.
Yeah, because it's upfront, like you say, as a lump sum probably, and then they can reinvest that basically, or whatever happens like that. That's something that's I've seen happen on a few other games as well. But definitely is a good thing. And obviously, it all depends on what they do get offered and stuff like that. And but it's safe money. That's the thing as well, isn't it? Like a lot of indie developers are taking a risk by putting all their eggs into one basket of passion and creativity, and then if it falls flat on day one and beyond, then it's a bit of a waste of time. So they'll get that safe money with Game Pass. I think that at least they can say, at least that's enough to make another game or whatever it might be.
And just something as simple as word of mouth indie as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I would have picked up Planet of Lana regardless, but let's say I was somebody who just checked out Planet of Lana because it came to Game Pass, and now I'm talking about it so passionately and giving it such glowing praise. That might influence somebody to either go and purchase the game on Xbox or on Steam, or maybe go and play it on Game Pass. And we don't know what the deal is, but they may get financially incentivized due to the number of players or something. So the more people that play it gets them more money, So word of mouth is quite a powerful thing for these things.
100%. Well. Yeah, it's not just the fact that that's the money there. It could then, generate a sort of like a bit of a viral effect, couldn't it? Or not so much viral, but just it will have a momentum effect and knock-on effect basically. So definitely, no, it's a good shout. Game Pass is a good thing, and it's seems to be doing a lot of good things for developers and stuff. So especially indie devs, as we say, and it also adds a lot of diversity and richness to the Game Pass catalog. All the good stuff is from the indie scene, of course. But I hope that helps, Mr. Domes. Thanks for the great question. Always a legend. You are being in the chat. We always love to see you in. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, and thank you so much everyone else who's hanging out with us. And thanks to Stubbs Gaming for joining us. Great to see you, buddy. Had a lot of fun chatting to you the other day, getting my grilling on your show. Check it out if you haven't already, guys, if you fancy hearing a bit of behind the scenes chat from Stubbsy and myself about what makes me tick, I suppose you could say. But it's good stuff, mate. Thanks for having me on. Scotty Baby's on next, didn't he, I think? Love it. Looking forward to that. But yes, Planet of Lana, everyone, we give it the thumbs up from all three of us guys, which I'm loving. I'm sure Luke will as well, but I won't speak for him. But yeah, I don't know if he's actually played it yet, has he? He's letting the side down, isn't he? GB's sunning himself, isn't he? Yeah. We'll see him back in with played it, I'm sure. But yeah, no, I hope you guys have enjoyed it if you have played it already. And if you haven't, I'm really grateful to see some of you guys saying that you will be checking it out now, like our good man Uncle Mike, who's now downloading it. He's even put a picture on Twitter with the downloading it from Game Pass. So there you go. Proof is in the pudding. We love that. Thank you very much for that. I hope you enjoy it. So yes, let's move on to our other topic, our final topic of the day, guys, and leave Planet of Lana behind us. I look forward to finishing it, and I'll give you my full rundown when I do finish it on Twitter. Probably do a little cheeky little post on it, I imagine. But yeah, good to see so many people enjoying it. But our next topic and our final topic is regarding to the PlayStation Showcase, guys. So let's pull that over. So yeah, with regards to the actual PlayStation Showcase, we're going to sort of talk a little bit about, what was shown off kind of thing. As a whole, what we thought of it. Dangerous. And, and, yeah. And, dive into some of the games that were shown off as well, because there was certainly some awesome games shown off. But yeah, I'm interested just to get a little take, maybe firstly from you guys, just what you thought of the show as a whole, maybe, let's just keep it to that. Let's go for Scott baby first. Scotty baby. What did you think of the PlayStation Showcase, buddy? Did you enjoy the show? I think I know the answer. Just a general rundown for starters.
Yeah, it's been an interesting few days since the show, because the conversation's been we'll just leave it at interesting, shall we say. I think I did actually tweet about this, and I know we spoke about it in DMs with Luke as well, but I think there are two statements that we can apply to the PlayStation Showcase. I think it was a poor PlayStation Showcase. I think they showed off some really good looking games, particularly indie games. I think both of those statements are true. I won't spend too much time talking about kind of the negative side of things, but I think ultimately, look, there was just a level of expectations that Sony themselves set by having a PlayStation Showcase that they didn't meet from a first party perspective, and I think people are right and are well within their rights to be disappointed that they didn't see maybe the games that they expected. However, they showed off some really, really good games. There were some really good announcements, and from the indie side in particular, there was a lot of good stuff that I'm sure we're going to talk about. The likes of Plucky Squire, announcements like Ultros, for example. There was a lot of really good games to get into. So I think there's been a lot of negativity about the show. I would still recommend people watch it, particularly even if you don't have a PlayStation. I think one of the criticisms from it, which again I think is valid, is it was very multi-platform focus, which as somebody who doesn't own a PS5, I had absolutely no problems with, because a lot of the games that were shown, I know I'm going to be able to get to play if I want to play them. So still go out and check it, particularly the indie games. Like I say, I'm sure we'll get into it at the moment. So I thought it was a poor PlayStation Showcase, but they showed off some really, really good games.
Well said. Yeah, no, that's a great take, I think. Perfectly said there. And we will definitely be getting into some of the indie goodness, the indie games that were shown off. But yeah, great to get your sort of feels for the actual show. Judgy baby, what did you think of it? Did you check it out? Did you enjoy it? What do you think?
I did. I actually watched this with my brother.
Nice.
And I think Scott's takes are absolutely bang on. Honestly, there's two ways to look at this showcase. Number one, if you go to look at it as a PlayStation first party kind of showcase, there's a million podcasts that have covered it, so I'm not going to go into any of that. But yeah, disappointing. If you went to look at it as a game showcase, it was actually pretty good. And like Scott said, there was some cracking indie titles there, and a couple that surprised me, and I thought, wow, okay, that's going to be on my radar now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good variety of stuff, pretty much. Well, I guess there's quite a lot of games, as Xbox tweeted, that are multi-platform. The stuff that was missing, there's no real excuse for that, given the amount of time since their last showcase. But go and look at it as a gamer, as someone that goes to enjoy stuff that's coming. It doesn't really matter. Oh, Plucky Squire. Yes, absolutely. Sorry. There we go, boys. A bit of Plucky Squire.
Yeah. That was brilliant.
So yeah, go look at it as a gamer. Stop concerning yourself so much about. I mean, okay, the hardcore Xbox and Sony fanboys are gonna blow up regardless, on either side. But like I said at the start of this show, go and look at things as a gamer and take things as a gamer. Forget roughly where you're going to be playing things. Just look at what's coming. It's such a great time right now.
Yeah.
And some of these games that are coming out look absolutely fantastic. So overall, I really enjoyed the show. But you would have to score it in two cases, as a gamer and as someone that wanted the first party from Sony. I think it's very different takes.
Definite. Yeah, no, absolutely. Should we dive into that a little bit first? Yeah, I mean, like, obviously two different ways of looking at it for sure. I really, really well put, considering it's a difficult question to answer, both of you guys, by the way. But yeah, no, maybe we'll dive into the some of the games that were shown off then, because there were quite a large chunk of awesome indie games shown off of this. And maybe at the end, if we see how we're doing for time and stuff like that, we could maybe see if you want to slag off the whole thing as a whole. No, but we'll see. Let's focus on the games and get some of those pushed forward. But like I say, no, but you can always give us a little take at the end if you want, maybe with regards to, just in general, these showcases. There's a lot of people putting out bad takes, in my opinion, with regards to, showcases in general. There shouldn't be indie games on showcases like this. I get where they're coming from, and I definitely...
I don't.
No, okay, fair enough. I was gonna soften it a little bit.
I think you're being too nice and polite there. To be honest, we'll maybe save that for the end. But look, it's a game showcase. Indie games are games. Same way AAA games are games. Like they deserve to be on there as much as any other game. You're well within your rights to be disappointed with the first party element of it, or the lack thereof, I guess. But just remember, the indie game didn't take a spot of The Last of Us Factions. It didn't take the spot of the next game from Sony Santa Monica. All it did was get a really good spotlight on what looks to be a good indie game, and I think that should be celebrated. These indie games deserve to be there just as much as any other game. And I think it's really good that all three platforms, Xbox have been really good at it. PlayStation have become much better at it over the past sort of 5 or 6 years. Nintendo have always been good at showcasing it. I think it's really, really good that these platforms are actually providing their platform for indie games to be shown off to the world and millions of people.
Definitely. No, I'm. That's why you're on the podcast, bro. Well played. That is sweet. I love you right now. Sorry to
want to take this offline and get a remake?
No, I'm loving it. Usually me, I'm having to fight that corner, so it's nice. But generally, you go, mate.
It's an interesting take, right? And funnily enough, that's pretty much what I was going to say is about the fact that indie games are games and they should be there. What gets me is you see it all the time, and it doesn't matter whether it's gaming or whatever sort of topic or subject you follow or whatever communities you're in on Twitter. It's the same sort of thing. You have rampant entitlement from people. It's like they could show 60 games, and if 10 of them were not for you, it suddenly becomes the end of the world. Well, it's not for you, but someone else watching that's just made their day,
Exactly.
So the entitlement, I think, gets me a little bit. And to grade, not necessarily this showcase right now, but, any sort of showcase, like, well, it didn't have this that I wanted to be there. Well, no, it didn't. But look at the stuff it did have and just try and chill out a little bit.
Yeah, well, 100%. Yeah, okay, we'll get into this now and then we'll do the games. Looks like we're doing it. But the thing is, right, is maybe some of the issue with this is PlayStation have not been this way traditionally. This seems like a change for them. This definitely felt like a more of a Xbox showcase. It was like much more diverse. It was, lots going on with, smaller developers, third party and stuff like that. I think that was really good. I thought they'd done a good job. They just needed some more first party in there as well. Like Scott said, it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice the indies. Don't just destroy the indies and put all first party. You just add in some first party in there. and you know, you've got some really good games in there, as we'll dive into in a second. But yeah, like it's a shame when you see people just sort of saying, you know, it should be all first party, or it should be all, you know, just big bangers, basically, AAA bangers. Yeah. It's just frustrating, really, because, you know, they're all games and they all have their own merits, and often indie games are better anyways, you know, than the AAAs. It's just, you know, it's a cultural thing. And sometimes, you know, like I said on Twitter, when I was chatting about this, you know, if you want to change their sort of like culture a bit, PlayStation, they need to start introducing things like this to change the whole sort of like feel of the actual PlayStation, you know, the way they showcase things, introducing more indies. So they've traditionally not been very good at having, you know, the indie games back, basically. And it feels like maybe potentially they are moving into a little bit more of, you know, that sort of territory. Do you think that might be a little step change for them, guys, you think? Or am I just sort of like seeing wishful thinking maybe? Or
well, probably going from their history. If you remember, I can't remember which year, the year of E3 it was, and Sony had no first party, and they filled the thing with indies, and like, we love indies so much.
Yeah.
And everybody was complaining when they haven't got anything, then they're in love with indies, and then next time it's all going to be first party.
Yeah.
So I think the jury's out a little bit on that.
Yeah, true.
I think you're right about the way they've kind of gone similar to Xbox with obviously ID at Xbox program. But oddly enough, when people look at some of these games and say, "Oh, that's not for me," I mean, that soap game, Foam Splatoon, that's not for me.
That's
it
not
really isn't.
Yeah.
But it's probably for someone, right?
Yeah, true.
But a lot of times, if you look at some of these games and if you give someone no information on some of these indies that are coming out now and say, "What do you think to this?" and they'll go, "Oh, wow, that's absolutely amazing." You know, look at some of my reactions last year in the showcases, and you turn around and say, "Well, it's an indie game." It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
You still was impressed with it. You're still really looking forward to playing it. And when you do play it, you have a damn good time.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Scott, bro?
Yeah, I mean, Judd's kind of hit the nail on the head, I think, to be perfectly honest, mate.
Yeah, definite. No, you're still riding your previous comments anyway, so yeah, you can just start basking that.
The one, I guess, a few other points, and I'll leave it after that.
Yeah.
The first thing is, this was only about an hour long, a little bit over an hour. You know, these showcases, I mean, Xbox showcases have been like 2 hours in the past. Summer Games Fest has been 2 to 3 hours. This was relatively short for a big showcase. So if they wanted to include more first party, they could have. There was literally nothing stopping them.
Yeah,
and I made the point to say they chose to show a Gran Turismo movie trailer in this showcase. They could have had that spot for another game if that's the thing. And then anybody that says, look, this showcase had too many indies, the question I would ask them is, take the indies out of the showcase. Is the showcase better or worse? And it's unbelievably worse if you take the indies out of the showcase. So they were just adding to the overall show. Now, PlayStation didn't get the balance right. That's on PlayStation. That's not on the indie games.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, it's just like it's just a scapegoat, isn't it? It's like a thing to blame, just because the rest of it wasn't there. And it, you know, like you said, it could have been a longer showcase. They had more in there, and then it would have been great. You know, it's just frustrating. But yeah,
get rid of the VR segment.
Exactly.
Nobody cares about VR. The VR can fuck off. Leave the indie games in there. VR, get rid of that, and then put more games in. I'm just playing anyone who likes it. That's obviously
a friendly
fine,
pest.
but it's not.
He's coming
not
at
for
you.
me.
It's
I
not
had
for
a
me.
moment when Arizona Sunshine 2 was announced, because the first game is amazing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
I forgot actually. You're a big VR guy, aren't you? Judsy baby. So
I am.
How do you feel about what Scott just said? Yeah, I was gonna say, I forgot about that. Did you enjoy the VR segment on this show?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, there was quite a few rumors about stuff that would be coming, and again, I think it needs to be supported better by Sony. But there is some good stuff coming, and if they only showed Arizona Sunshine, which is a third party, but if they'd only showed that, I'd be happy, because it's such a great game. It's deserved a sequel for some time. So yeah,
cool, man. Good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, let's move away from some of that negativity now. I think we've said our piece on that. I mean, all of us are in agreement that, indies are, should be in these sorts of showcases, should be in these big showcases. And I respect PlayStation, even if it was something that they weren't, even if it was because they didn't have maybe as many AAAs, I still respect them for having them front and center. They didn't put in a sizzle reel where it's just boom, boom, boom. They had games like, Neva and Sword of the Sea, which we'll get into in a second. Full trailers, looking beautiful, making the show better, really. So at the end of the day, but yeah, so I do respect them for that. Hopefully, it's something where they're looking to change their culture a little bit, and I'm hopeful in that respect. And they're doing it in much more of a sort of Xbox style showcase. This really reminds me of last year's Xbox showcase, the one where Benedict Fox was shown off. It reminds me of that kind of format. So it's a bit different for PlayStation for sure. But yeah, no, we'll move away from that. We'll get into the goodness of the indie games and what was shown off, because like I said, there was quite a few, and I know I was certainly talking to Scott in the DMs as things were happening, and we were sort of celebrating the fact there was some really cool games shown off, and there definitely were. So I'm looking forward to highlighting those now. So, let's get into that side of things. I'm just going to try and get rid of this game that's on the screen right now, because this probably isn't one of our highlights. But yeah,
game of the show, this one. Right?
Yeah, well, maybe Luke will like, because he really likes Splatoon, doesn't he? Actually,
I really like Splatoon. It's too much of like I'll not go. It's just too much of a rip-off, basically.
Yeah,
for it to be
true.
enjoyable, I think, in some ways. Plus, it's a Square Enix live service game, which means it's going to probably bomb. Unfortunately for them, Square Enix aren't particularly good at that sort of thing.
Sure, no, that's the fair shout. Good stuff. Okay, maybe I'll fire over to one of you guys then. Who's up for maybe picking one of your favourites from the show on the indie side of things? Did you have any sort of highlight games that you saw in this showcase, guys? Maybe Scott first, if you wanted to.
Oh no, let's hear from Judd. I've spoken too much. I want to hear what Judd's.
Cool, man. Okay, Juddsy Bay. Was there any sort of sweet indie goodness that you saw on a showcase that you enjoyed seeing?
Absolutely. I was about to say the same thing about myself, Scott, but I'll go for it.
Or I can go first if you want. Actually, I'll kick it off if you want.
No, I'm
You're
good
good to go.
good.
Lovely.
Yes. Mainly because I don't want one of you two to nick this one off me.
Okay. No worries. Go for it.
I think pretty much all of them looked really, really interesting. That's the first thing. There wasn't a bad indie game shown, I don't think, from memory. But my first pick, Plucky Squire.
You stole it. Yeah.
You talk about, AAA sort of cookie cutter, rinse and repeat, and there's no imagination. This game, it first came on, you're like, okay, that looks kind of interesting, with like the 2D sort of cartoony thing, and then they come into the real world, and the puzzles translate into the real world as well. And also some of the stuff they're doing in the 3D real world when he's spinning around the cylinder thing, I can't remember what he's spinning around, but that sort of mimics the 2D art style, but on a 3D world object.
Yep.
So I thought, wow, that's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, again, the creativity on this. I mean, I know there's things that have been similar previously, but it's like this bit right now. So that shock when he sort of jumps out and straight into the real world.
Yeah.
And what can you say about that? It looks absolutely awesome.
So clever.
There's the bit I was talking about with the cup thing he's spinning around with the fireballs coming down on him.
Yeah, it's so clever, isn't it? Just quickly, by the way, guys, in the chat, let us know your favourite picks from the showcase. Any awesome indie games you saw? We'll be sure to read those out. Shout out to Lady Foxfighter saying Neva and Revenant Hill. I could definitely predicted Revenant Hill was going to come up for you because I know you love Night in the Woods, so we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, good picks there. Anyone else, let us know. But great stuff there, Judd. So yeah, I mean, you saw this wasn't the first time you saw Plucky Squire, was it, Judd?
It was the first time I saw Plucky
Squire.
Oh, really?
Okay, cool.
Okay. You were in for a treat then.
Yeah.
The first time, yeah.
I blew up on the sitting on the sofa. I'm like, whoa, check this out.
That's what we were like when we first saw it. With on the Devolver showcase. Were you there, Scott, for the Devolver showcase? Yeah. So yeah, that was when we first saw it on the Devolver Direct one, and it looks incredible. I remember that was when Joe Winter was there as well, wasn't he? I remember doing a reaction with us. But yeah, so just the creativity, the uniqueness just looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? But yeah, it was so good to see like this show up again, wasn't it? I wonder if there's anything to do with the fact that obviously they have had a little bit of a syncing up between PlayStation and Devolver on behind the scenes. I don't know if that's had any influence, because we did have a SH then. We had a crap ton of I don't know if it would probably be all right anyway, but we had a crap ton of Devolver games showing up in this showcase, so maybe there is something to that, if you know what I mean, because they have been putting a little bit of shares into the old Devolver, didn't they? PlayStation or something or other. I wonder if that has anything to do with the amount of games showing up. Probably not, but you know, Plucky Squire. Scott, I know you're really excited for it. Good to see it showing up. What did you think? Yeah.
Excellent to see. Good to get a date on it as well. Well, a rough, I guess, a window to know it's coming this year. Obviously, they couldn't commit beyond that, which is fine. But if it does land this year, excellent. It's just another great indie game in 2023.
100%. Yeah, like it's one of the type of games that you could think, it could have drifted back a little bit, if you know what I mean, because it's just so you know, creative and ambitious as well. So yeah, it's good to see it's still on track for 2023, and you never know, Devolver Direct coming up soon, so maybe even we'll get a date then. I don't know, but yeah, either way, 2023 looking sweet for Plucky Squire. I'm pretty sure all of us are really excited for this bad boy. So yeah, great pick for starters. Scott, did you want to bring up one that you like to see at this showcase? Any indie games that you like the look of?
Yeah, I think the one that I'll highlight, that I think the reason I want to highlight this is I think it's maybe the one that has kind of gone under the radar a little bit compared to the others. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about the Plucky Squire. Yeah. A lot of people are talking about Sword of the Sea and things like that. Teardown's getting a lot of love as well. I haven't seen too many people talking about Ultros.
I thought you were going to say
that. I guess it is a Metroidvania. I think they've said. I thought the trailer was excellent. Like the art style and the vibrancy of the colors that they're using, and the animation looked really cool. Like, it weirdly reminded me a little bit of elements of Psychonauts. If anybody's played Psychonauts,
like the psychedelia of it, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I thought they showed really, really well, and this is actually one of the ones that's I guess console exclusive to PlayStation. It's only on PS4 and PS5. It is come to PC as well.
It's on Steam. Yeah, I've got it wish listed as you have as well. Haven't you?
Yeah, it was the first thing I did, because obviously we said at the beginning a lot of it was multi-platform. This is actually one of the ones that is exclusive to PlayStation. So I'm going to wish list that on Steam as well. But I thought this was a really, really good trailer. It looked really good. The only downside to it is a 2024 trailer, which we don't see too often from indies. I don't think these sorts of reveals and announcements that far out, but still one to watch and one I'm looking forward to playing next year.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think 2024 makes sense. Gives them time. I've not seen it before today. Whatever day this was on. So before this showcase. But yeah, for me, it's Metroidvania. I love Metroidvanias. I think it looks fantastic. I really love the art style. It's very unique, because a lot of Metroidvanias can be, quite sort of desolate, sort of desaturated worlds, can't they, and stuff like that. If you know what I mean. Not all of them, of course. But yeah, this one. It has a very unique art style, very colourful, and just beautiful. Yeah, it's. I think VJ found this a bit too much for him. His taste. I was watching their reaction show. I think he was like a bit too much colour for him, maybe, or something. But I think it looks beautiful, and definitely up for it.
This game's going to pop. It completely different art style, but if you remember kind of the way that Cult of the Lamb. The art style and the color of that game just really popped. I think this has got like obviously it's completely different art style, obviously different color scheme, but I think it'll pop in the same way. That'll make it look really, really good. I mean, it does look really, really good. So I
think he might change his mind on that. he should anyway. He should open his mind to that, because this is looks really, really good. Like you say, what do you think of it, Juddy? Did you like look at this one?
Well, at the risk of not being invited back on again,
it's okay to say no.
I will explain myself though, because I kind of had a similar reaction to VJ. It's like there's too much going on. It's almost as if I would have loved to have played this game when I may or may not have been on something when I was younger, because I think that would be amazing. I may or may not have got flashbacks while watching the trailer. Who knows? It's a mystery. We may never know.
Or
right?
you could get it without having to do what you did when you were younger. Just play the game, and it's no risk.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I probably like. I don't know, but it may be the sort of thing that when you actually play it, it's not quite as overwhelming. Because you're trying to, when you're watching the trailer, it's like you're taking everything in all at once. It's really sensory overload.
True.
Maybe when you're playing it, I don't know. Maybe when you're playing it, it's not quite as bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it looks cool, but yeah, no, I do understand. It's like big time sensory. I would say overload for me, but I know what you mean. I can see where you're coming from. I love that boss. Look at that. That just looks so good fun. I think when I see that boss, I think this is so for me. The big sort of fly or whatever it is. But yeah, no, I don't know if I've said hello to Dragonwolf. Did I miss you? Oh, if I did, I apologise. Dragonwolf, my friend, great to see you. Thanks for coming by. I hope you're doing well, brother. It's awesome to see you back in. But yeah, that was so up my street. This one, great pick from Scott, I would say. This one is straight onto the wish list for me. No questions asked. Definitely my type of game to check out. So I'll do a pick-a-roo now quickly. I'm going to go for a bit of an obvious one because it needs to be said. If I could actually get this to work. There we go. I'm doing it straight from YouTube, so it's probably not the best, but yeah, it's working hopefully okay. But it's in and out. But anyway, so this one is... this was a massive announcement in my opinion. This is an indie game, of course, but it's a massive, massive indie game in a sense because, we're talking about Sword of the Sea here, developer of Journey. This has got major, major Journey vibes, in my opinion. So they developed Abzu and The Pathless as well. And, Journey was the first of those games. Then they went to Abzu, then they went to The Pathless. And I feel like they've kind of gone away from the Journey vibes, and now this one feels like almost like Journey 2. I thought this was Journey 2 actually, when I first saw it. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I love Journey. It's such an amazing game, incredible experience. This was a big announcement in my opinion, and this was a PlayStation exclusive. Journey was back in the day, and then it came to PC later. That's when I played it. Journey was originally just on PlayStation, so it kind of makes sense that it's going to be on this show. So here's your exclusive, guys, if you want it. You know what I'm saying? But it's generally a big one because Journey is one of the best games of all time, and so many people regard it so highly. Like people like Joe Winter, again mentioned him twice in one show, but like Legend he is, developer of Song of Iron, he always talks about this being one of his favourite games of all time, and I totally with him. It's amazing. Journey again. Sorry, I'm talking about not Sword of the Sea. It's not out yet, but yeah. So Journey being what it is, and Abzu being amazing as well. I haven't played The Pathless yet. I need to do that, but yeah, an incredible developer bringing their new game. So excited for this. I know it's been talked about quite a bit anyway, but are you excited for this one, guys?
Scott, after you.
I'm going to shamefully admit that I've not played Abzu, Pathless, or Journey.
Oh, that's great though. I love that because that means you've got so much to enjoy.
Yeah. What I will say is I did really, really enjoy the trailer though. I thought it was an excellent trailer, and the game looks really cool. It's just I can tell a lot of the excitement comes from people who have played those previous games, and obviously it's difficult for me to share that, but I thought it was a really good trailer, and I think the Pathless was exclusive to PS5, or at least console exclusive to PS5 for a bit as well. So obviously PlayStation have got a good relationship with Giant Squid.
Giant Squid, that's it.
Yeah. But obviously it's coming to PC as well. So
this one's going to
really
PC,
good.
which is, I was really worried that it wouldn't be at first, but because I was looking and then it was. It says Steam as well on their tweets and stuff. So very excited for that because, like I said, the original Journey was just on PlayStation, and then I'm thinking about it. Yeah, so then it came like years and years later. So, but anyway, so this one, you've got to play it Abzu, by the way. You quite like, didn't I? I thought I heard you say once that you quite like water.
Abzu's the water one, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you into that? Am I imagining that? No, I don't know.
Am I into water?
Are you into water? Not the SPORTS at the end.
I was thinking more to stay alive. I don't know where your mind. I do know where your mind was going.
Yeah. We had to go.
It's a life necessity. So yeah. No, I know
water,
you're into water. I don't know why. I've lost the plot. Sorry, I'll get back on track. I apologize, but yeah, no.
I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing. I think I have seen all three of the games in some form. I think the Pathless and and Journey are games that probably appeal to me more than Abzu. I would probably say, but obviously that's just based on like trailers and bits that I've seen of them.
Basically, you know, Abzu is underwater, you know, Journey essentially.
I'm getting told off by Dragon Wolf here.
Oh,
well,
really?
Mate.
I like that.
So, yeah,
good man.
Getting called off for that.
Abzu is such a chilled game. You should give yourself damn good talking to. And he also says, I do find myself playing more indie games with a sprinkling of larger so-called AAA games. Nice, buddy. Yeah, a bit of diversity in your life, a bit of variety is always good. Like that. But yeah, so that's, you know, 3 assignments that you've got then, Scott, to sort out. 3 games on the agenda.
When I get my Steam Deck, mate.
Oh. You said that intentionally so you don't have to play them.
I was going to say, it's if I get my Steam Deck.
But yeah, honestly, like Journey though is really this kind of look and sort of art style and everything. It's even got the blue tone in part of the game, and the sort of like warm tone in other parts of the game. That's why it just really feels like it. Have you played any of those games, Judsy baby?
No.
Oh my God, what's going on here?
I know.
Where are you, Luke?
The frauds now.
Luke, come back to me.
It's terrible.
Slagged him off. We need him back.
It's a real state.
I'm only joking.
I was just going to say what Scott said and then just be quiet, but no, I mean, watching this trailer, it's. I mean, Journey is 10 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, so old.
Something
as well.
like that.
Still
and
stands
Abzu,
up.
It's another one that it's a sort of game I think I would really enjoy playing. Dragon Wolf said it's chill, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's definitely
just
chill.
To relax and chill out. So I'm gonna go back and get Journey and Abzu definitely.
Journey and Abzu you can get for literally nothing. Sorry to interrupt you. You can get it from so cheap on Steam sales. Get Journey and Abzu on that, and they're like nothing basically. For price wise.
Just having a quick look as well on one thing I do like to do. I like to check like how long to beat for these sorts of things.
Oh yeah, cool.
If it's like a 40 to 50 hour thing, then
no, Journey's like
but these
2 hours,
seem really short. Like,
yeah.
2-3 hours both, which is
yeah. That's
like,
that's one
I
of the
like
great
games
things.
that you can do in one sitting if you want, and that's why I genuinely mean it. If I get a Steam Deck, Andy, because that will allow me to play more games than I do at the moment. I'll be able to sit there and when the missus watching the TV or she's playing Zelda on the Switch, I'll be able to sit there and play one of these games pretty much in one sitting. So
fantastic. No, that's awesome, buddy. Yeah, no, there's 3 great games there for both of you guys. I mean, I haven't played The Pathless, so I can't say much on that. I know Luke has, but yeah, he's a big fan of this developer as well. So great stuff, guys. Let's move on. I'm going to put one up actually, which I'm very excited for. We should do a last blast of a few, and then we will wind things up. Thank you so much, everyone who's continuing to hang out with us. Let us know what you're excited for as well. It's awesome to have great names like Stubbs Gaming, Dragon Wolf in the house, Mr. Domez hanging out. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Really appreciate you all. So I'm just going to put up one. I know Judd's will probably like a part of this particular trailer. I just want to put it up there because it was also one of my favourite games. Don't know if we're classing it as officially indie, but I'm going to claim it anyway. But it was definitely indie previously when I played the original, which is Ghost Runner. Awesome to see Ghost Runner 2 shown off, and it's got a bike in it for you.
Oh yes,
we might like that. That wasn't in the original, so I like the looks of that. It seems like it's a bigger world in Ghost Runner 2. You can sort of go across the city in your bike and stuff. It's not just the tower like in the first game. We used to have to sort of like scale the tower up to the top and then just play the first Ghost Runner, guys, by the way, if you haven't already played. Oh, actually, it's got like real gameplay bits in the bike, I just noticed there. That's pretty sweet. I know Juds is up for that. I'm sure of it, aren't you, buddy?
I would think so. Yeah, it's an interesting one, actually. Ghost Runner, I remember I watched some of your streams of playing the original, the first Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
And I definitely wasn't taking the mickey out of you when you kept getting killed at the same place. But
it is a tough game. But I did beat it.
It's a very tough game. Yeah, I played the demo, and I was enjoying it. And then I can't remember, something came out, and I completely forgot about the game. So I'm definitely going to get this one. But nice. I'm going to probably go back and play Ghost Runner as well, because it's one of those things that you think, oh man, I completely forgot about that. And it's such a good game, and everything about it, the visuals, the art style.
Oh yeah, the beautiful. Visuals are stunning. One of the most beautiful games actually. I played the original. Such a cool like cyberpunk sort of aesthetic to it, neon sort of city kind of vibe. It's so awesome looking, the first game. Yeah, this one looks great as well. I mean, I wouldn't say it's any step up, especially. I mean, I like the way they've got the bike though. That's really cool. But the first game's stunning as well. So get on that while you've got time as well to do that. But this one looks like just as good, but with extra elements, which is always going to be cool. But yeah, I loved seeing this show up. Ghost Runner, like I say, the original is one of my favorite games. And to put it into Scott's little path, I know he loves Katana Zero, and I always compare the original Ghost Runner to Katana Zero. I always think it's pretty much the same gameplay, except you're in the 3D world. How does that grab you, Scott? You haven't played the original, have you?
I haven't. Like Judd, I did watch your stream playing the first game. I remember. I think it was when you must have first played it, because I remember it being fairly early, and you were trying to get to grips with the game. It does look cool. It's just one of those games that I never got around to playing. To be honest, and obviously you know how much I love Katana Zero. So you know how to sell the game to us, don't you?
Yeah, it is a beauty, and it's like I say, that is, I think, a real good description of it. It is pretty much exactly what it is. You've obviously got a lot more to think about. It's one hit kill in the game. It's sort of intense. You've got to sort of plan your attacks like you do in Katana Zero. You sort of say, I'll take that guy out with that, I'll run over there and I'll throw that at that guy and do all this malarkey, you know what I mean? That's in Katana Zero, and you can apply that to this as well. But yeah, it's super amazing, precise sort of platforming and intense action. And yeah, it's one game which I'm proud to have beaten, because it is a challenging game. It sets out to challenge you. Like I say, you're down in one. If you get hit, if you die, but you'll get reset not far back, so you can just try again from a very kind checkpoint, if you see what I mean. The only thing not to do though is don't quit the game unless you've just finished the levels. So make sure you do it at a level base, because if you're halfway through a level and you stop and then you come back another time, it will restart you at the level where you that level start, basically, if that makes sense. So yeah, just to play it level by level and stop at the end of the level if you're going to stop. That's just one thing to remember. But yeah, so definitely check it out. But yeah, awesome to see that at this show. We also had a few others as well, like Revenant Hill. I know Lady Foxfire mentioned that earlier on, which is basically the new game from the developers of Night in the Woods. Finji, that is, by the way. Don't know if any of you guys played Night in the Woods?
No,
very much. You haven't? No, story-based game. I thought this was Night of the Woods too, because that looks so similar, the art style of the game. The cat looks, those eyes. You probably would have seen Night in the Woods, just the visual of it, maybe a screenshot or something. It's probably just that very distinctive look to it. But yeah, beautiful art style. And yeah, the original game is quite mature themes in a sort of very inviting sort of character sort of art style, but they're actually quite very mature dark themes actually going on within the game, which is that juxtaposition which works really well. But yeah, this one, Revenant Hill, very cool announcement. You haven't probably got much to say on that one, but guys, I was just going to...
Listen.
Anything you wanted to add?
Well, no, I haven't really. So, but you know me and cat games, when Stray was announced, I'm on it.
Oh, nice.
You get to play as a cat, I'm in. That's the bar you need to hit. So if you get in this game, that's the end of it.
That's it, sweet. That's what we like to hear. I'm sure Lady Foxfire would appreciate that. That's good stuff. Another of the games on the indie scene that was revealed at this showcase, when I can get it actually to load, there we go, was Talos Principle 2, which is another Devolver game. Like I say, there was quite a few Devolver games on show. This one definitely looks pretty cool for puzzle fans. I don't know if any of you guys played the original Talos Principle, did you at all? 3D puzzle game.
No, I'd say I have, unfortunately. It
was on Game Pass at some point, it was, but no worries at all. Yeah, it's a pretty cool announcement as well, though. But let's get to one juicy one I know we're all... Well, I know me and Scott are very excited for. I'm going to bring that up.
I think I know which one you're going to talk about. Because I'm surprised you haven't talked about it yet,
yeah, so. I've been holding it back. So this one's called Neva. I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So yeah, this was an especially exciting announcement because the original game, obviously from this developer, is called Grease, and it's amazing. So yeah, this was very exciting. I'll let you talk about it if you like, because I've been talking for a bit long. But yeah, you excited for this one? I know this was in your little mini list that you had of top highlights halfway through the show or whatever it was that you put in the DM. But yeah, you excited for this, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually played Greece either. Unfortunately, it's not a game I got around to. Although I know people really recommend it.
Oh, early, yeah.
The thing that really stood out on that, and similar to this actually, is the art style of the game.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a really fabulous trailer. To be perfectly honest,
definitely.
thought a really good introduction to the game. And yeah, you can tell by the aesthetic that it's at the very least is going to look pretty. And the scene that's just popped up there on my screen there, it says from the creators of Greece, and I think that got a lot of people, yourself included, excited.
Yeah, definitely. I think the called Namada on Namada Studios, I think it is. Namada Studio, something like that. Yeah, I forget their name, but yeah. So you're excited, obviously. Like, I mean, the thing about them is they do the emotional stuff really well. They do the incredible art style really well. So even in the trailer, as a solo piece, it gets you going, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is if these themes are in Greece, but similar to what Judd said there about the cats being in the game, the element of this having animals in it that play a part, and the trailer was obviously quite emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, yeah, really interested in this one.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. How about yourself, Judd? Are you up for this one? Have you played Greece, or are you up for this one either way?
Yeah, I've not played Greece either, but I think coming off the back of finishing Planet of Lana and then seeing this, very intriguing. I think again, the connection to I don't know what that animal's called, antler wolf or something.
Yeah, antler wolf. Let's go with
that. But yeah, I think again, what you guys have said, looking at the art style and obviously it's got that connection with the animal. And I've seen some trailers for Greece after seeing this. I wanted to go back and have a look at it, and
must play for
sure. I think this is going to be another one I'll definitely be interested in.
Definitely, yeah. I highly recommend checking out Greece, guys, because I haven't seen the game of this yet, but I'm interested to know what the actual gameplay will be like in this, of course. I'm on board anyway, but because obviously Greece is like a 2D side scroller, and it just looks so stunning. It's one of the most beautiful looking games ever made, in my opinion. It's true, like if you want to sort of think about games as an art form in a sense, as a sort of art come to life, basically that's what Greece would be a good thing to show people, if you see what I mean. But yeah, no, it's just such a good game. Try it out. Lots on the list to be added, guys, for your playlist, I think. Today that's good though.
The joy of indies.
That's the joy of indies. Like, it doesn't matter, I mean, who you are or what you've done, you're always going to have more to play, so don't feel bad, guys. It's all good. No, it's just exciting when you haven't played it. It's like, I play it. You'll be excited to hear what you think about it, all that sort of things. But yeah, no, fantastic. That's a great one. A couple other games I'm going to just mention that was on there, which is Cat Quest. Don't know if any of you guys have played Cat Quest, the other games in the series 1 and 2. Ever heard of that before?
I haven't played it, but oh my, number one, let's get it out of the way. Cat, okay, I'm in.
You're in.
But
Quest,
the opening, I just love the fact, Pirates of the Caribbean. I love play on words and stuff like that. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
that brilliant. First scene when he comes in on the boat straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean, I think Pirates of the Caribbean. I was wetting myself laughing. It was absolutely awesome. Exactly. So I'm in for that 100%. It looks brilliant.
Yeah. It's classic, isn't it? Yeah. Like it's like I heard some people are having a laugh about this. I don't know. It's just how people are. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? And it's not just a comedy thing as well. I love a bit of comedy in a game, but the game Cat Quest 1 and 2 were very highly regarded in that, in what they were. So good games. So I'm sure this one will be quite a lot of fun. If you like that sort of thing, give it a whirl for sure. Lady Foxfire's laughing out loud for that. But yeah, no, it looks fun. I mean, when you're waiting for a Spider-Man shop, I suppose, and that's all you're there for, and this turns up, I suppose, then you cry to yourself. But just that's the way it goes, guys.
Digging that needle in again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna pull up one game that I think's a little bit off. You might not be expecting. So let's see if that will load. So. Towers of
Agazba.
Thank you very much.
I don't. That was a guess. It's probably
Agazba. Is it? Or is it Agazba? I don't know.
Agazba.
Aghasba. It's quite a weird one. But anyway, I looked this one up, and it's actually made by an indie team. Don't know if you know that, guys. Did you know about that?
I did know, and this is kind of the point I was making earlier. If you didn't know and you saw this at the showcase, you'd be thinking, wow, this game looks awesome. But the stigma of it being an indie game, it's like, or made by a team. This exactly puts the lie to that whole attitude. So yeah, this looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely want to hear Scott's opinion on this one.
Yeah. What do you think about this one, Scott?
So this didn't do an awful lot for me, if I'm being completely honest. I think the reason for it is there was like an element of like building and stuff in it, and, like chopping down trees, and so I kind of got like survival game vibes from it, which isn't really a genre I typically vibe with. But I think Judd's makes a really good point, which it is one of those games which is blurring the lines between AAA and indie. Yeah. Which when you look at it, it's you could, if somebody said that was from a AAA developer, you'd believe them, particularly from a visual perspective, especially when it's a 3D game. So I think it looks great. Just from what I gathered from the game, it just didn't seem to be too much a genre that I would gel with. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's funny when you see like the building thing, it does the same thing to me a little bit. You think, oh, that's not my usual. But then I get the other parts of it for me look really great. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's just cool though that it's a really small team. I'm thinking it's kind of a bit like a Kena situation, if you know what I mean. Another sort of PlayStation sort of smaller team who have got a lot of experience and stuff. But yeah, looks very interesting. I know VJ was calling out a bit of Breath of the Wild vibes with the sort of floating around the sort of the scenario, the sort of scenery. Sorry, but yeah, like looks really really beautiful as a in of itself kind of thing. But yeah, pretty cool announcement, I thought. But yeah, is there any sort of, what would you sort of say your highlight game that you saw, any particular sort of top games that you saw, or as a final thoughts on the indies that they're showing off? Any top picks that you had, would you say? Judsy, do you want to go first, Judsy?
Yes, you get to ride a mouse donkey, whatever that is that you've just seen.
You get to ride a mouse donkey. Yeah.
You've got to love this game. It's fantastic. Yeah, so I think probably the other one I would mention that stood out to me, which is maybe an obvious one, is Teardown.
Of course. Got to mention
Saber Interactive.
Thank you very much.
Before the end of 23, which is awesome.
Yep.
I do not vibe with Minecraft at all. I don't get it. I just don't get Minecraft. It's not for me. But when I saw this, it's like, okay, this looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So this, by the way, I don't know if you knew, it's already out on PC. This
isn't it in early access on PC?
Not sure about that, but it's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and it's got a ton of reviews. So it's very highly celebrated, this game, already on PC. So it might be early access, it might not. I'll have to have a look, but it's definitely on there. There's like 60,000 reviews or something, and it's like overwhelmingly positive. So it's pretty safe bet that it's going to be awesome fun.
Yeah, no, it's funny because when I was talking to my brother who's watching this, we were remembered back to, there was a demo of the voxel environment that the developer did. It seems to me now, it was so many years ago, it's probably quite a while back. There's a little demo showing a proof of concept of what he was doing with the voxel sort of, what's the word for it? Environment.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, that looks absolutely incredible. And we was like, was it ever going to be an actual game? Is it ever going to come to be a real game? And here it is. And it looks absolutely amazing. So it's a day one on console, or might look on Steam then if it's on Steam now.
Yeah, it's on there at the moment, maybe, it's on there now basically. So I don't know if it's early access or not, but yeah, either way, obviously once you lock it in, you've got it, and then it'll turn into the 1.0, obviously on Steam that way. And you got your PC.
I think it's just out.
It's just already out anyway. It's not early access.
Yeah, I just had a little look. It doesn't mention early access.
Cool.
From what I can see, came out April last year, so it's over a year now actually. So
I'm definitely confusing it with something else. I think's in early access then.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, awesome stuff. any sort of like, let's just do like final thoughts, then we'll wind it up, guys. Any final thoughts on the showcase? Scotty baby, I know Luke, not Luke, we've got Juds today. Juds just mentioned his. Anything you'd like to finally mention, Scott, on the showcase? Any last games that you wanted to call out, or maybe your top pick, or just final thoughts?
Yeah, I think in terms of final thoughts, I'll just say, look, there's some really, really cool indie games shown. I think in terms of my top pick, I'm going to steal Juds's from earlier and say the Plucky Squire.
Nice.
I'm hoping we see a little bit more of that during the Devolver showcase, and obviously looking forward to playing that this year. It just looks great.
Fantastic. No, brilliant stuff. Yeah, so what was your top one, Judsy baby, from the show? Any particular one that you had of your top one? Was it Plucky Squire as well for yourself? Sorry.
Plucky Squire.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, brilliant. Very good pick, guys. I mean, it's just so creative and just ingenious, really, the idea of it. Yeah, there were some good ones for me. I think, obviously, Sword of the Sea, I really hyped for. That might be my top pick, I don't know. Ghost Runner, there's a lot for me. All the ones I mentioned previously, I'm excited for those, really. Great showcase in general for the indie side of things. Needed more first party as a whole. In general, though, good to see some indies on the PlayStation Showcase. And yeah, I definitely like that about it. So let me just pop on Plucky Squire while we finish off. So we're going to wind things up there, guys. We wanted to make it a bit shorter. I haven't made it quite as short, but we've made it a little bit shorter than usual. So we're trying. Sorry, it's a bit of a failure on my part as always. But yes, it's been awesome hanging out with two legends today. Judsy baby, back on the show, back on the channel. Great to have you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a while, as I say, so it was great to, get back together and have a good old chat. You're an awesome guy. So really great to have you back on, my friend. Thank you very much for being part of it. Would you like to shout out where they can find you? I know you've got some music in the works. So yeah, where could they find that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, firstly, again, thanks so much for inviting me back on. It's been awesome. It's been a hell of a period, and it's just great to be back and get the rust off the old podcast in there. So it's been awesome chatting with you and Scott, and the chat's been excellent. And luckily we've had a really good bunch of indies and stuff to talk about. Now I'm extending it, so let me just shout my
No, you were good. You go ahead.
Yeah, I've got some more music in the work. I've just done a cover of a song that was in The Last of Us episode 6 called Never Let Me Down Again. The female vocalist who's on that is absolutely stunning, so go and check that out. It's my pinned tweet
nice.
On my profile on Twitter, which is @Judzilla UK, and YouTube @Judzilla Music. And I'll have another piece out, which is the music's written. I've done half the video. I'm just waiting for some better video footage from a certain showcase in June. So that one will be out. It's another gaming inspired piece of music.
Lovely.
But yeah, I've rocketed to 81 subs now, so I'm well on the way to 100. But yeah, go check me out there. If you need music, go check me out.
Nice. We need to get you over that 100, man. Like, people, what are you doing? Get over to Judsy baby and give him 100 subscribers. He deserves it. you know he's worth it. He's a legend. Go over to Judsy baby's channel, guys, and press that sub button. You know it makes sense.
I appreciate you, mate.
No worries.
But thanks again. Yeah, it's been fantastic, as I say, coming back and chatting these games with you, and an awesome chat. I've really enjoyed myself. So thanks very much, mate.
Pleasure, buddy. Anytime. It's always good to have you on. Thanks for being part of it. So yes, Scotty baby, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Always bringing hot takes and great takes as well. Really hot take today. I love that one, by the way. I might clip that and put it on Twitter.
I see some memes coming along.
Yeah, definitely. Just me cheering him on. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, thanks very much for being part of it as always, brother. Where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, no, it's been great. Always good to do the show. Great to have Judsy on. Obviously, shame Luke can't make it, but the good news is, we've got another show next week with you and Luke talking about, the upcoming showcases. So that's going to be awesome to listen into. If anyone wants to hear any more hot takes, I don't think it was that hot a take, to be perfectly honest. And I think it's just common sense. But you can find them over at SX2 Gaming on Twitter.
Love that. Yeah, you do tweet a lot as well over there, which is always good stuff you're tweeting. So definitely do that. Give them a good old follow. Links are in the description. Links are in the description below as well if you wanted to check out the links. The show, I think Stubbs is asking, I think it's on Friday. Is that what we said in the DM? I can't remember what I I said now. Did Luke confirm Friday?
Yeah.
I might be waiting for his confirmation. Oh no, he did confirm, didn't he?
Should be the second, yeah. So unfortunately, I go on my honeymoon on the Saturday. So
yeah,
it's an early night for me. So
don't let your wife hear that.
I think you might want to rephrase that.
Hopefully the missus didn't hear that.
That's brilliant. But yeah, no,
I'm very excited for going on home. It does mean, unfortunately, that I missed the show.
Is there any reason why you're saying that extra loud so that she can hear it in the other room?
Shortest marriage in history.
That's brilliant. But yeah, no, I really hope you have an awesome time on the honeymoon, buddy. I'm sure you have an amazing time. Yeah, it's you're heading to Switzerland, aren't you? So that's going to be beautiful, I think. But yeah, so why does that keep appearing on the screen? Go away. Thank you everyone who's been in the chat as well, guys, and thank you for, as I say, to Scott. Looking forward to when you get back, by the way, Scott, as well, as there'll be showcase goodness to explore, and I'm sure we'll dive into all of that sort of stuff when you return. The wine, sort of like the recaps and stuff like that of what's been shown. Look forward to that. We will be covering probably some live reactions on the channel, not as much as we did last year, which was quite a lot, a bit too much probably. But yeah, this time we're going to sort of choose a few less, pick and choose. We'll do some live reactions, and we'll probably do some videos, maybe sort of to recap stuff. But yeah, keep following on the old Twitterverse. Mine's indie_gamer_01. All the links in the description, though, as I say. If you fancied it, feel free to join the Discord as well, where you can keep up to date with all the latest on the channel and chat with some awesome people in the community who also enjoy indie games. Discord link is in the description below as well. But yeah, if you haven't already subscribed, then feel free to subscribe. This channel, as I say, is dedicated to indie games and sharing in the indie goodness. But thank you so much everyone who's checked out the show today. It's been awesome hanging with so many great people in the chat. Stubbs Gaming in the house, thank you for being here. Dragon Wolf, great to see you back in, buddy. Mr. Domez, once again in the house, bringing awesome takes. Thank you for being here, my friend. Lady Foxfire today, was great to see you back in as well. Who else did we have? We had Uncle Mike coming through. Paul S as well. Fimber, Boxenberger, DeFloyd, and anyone else who I've missed. Thank you so much for coming by, guys. It's been awesome chatting indie games with you all. If you haven't already, as I said earlier, feel free to check out my review of The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which is up on the channel now. Just as I say, check that bad boy out, and I'd love to know your thoughts. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching once again, guys, and we'll catch you again real soon for some more indie games goodness. Enjoy your gaming, guys, and have a great rest of your day. Later, guys.